Welcome to the RadioU Podcast. Coming up, which city has the worst drivers in America?
Also, the Delco Pooper is back.
All that and more on the way next. Well. If it isn't the hammer finally coming down on Michigan. 8772 Radio U. The consequences of their own actions finally coming back to bite them. A report yesterday states that Michigan football coach Sherrone Moore going to be suspended for 2 games in 2025. There's so much about this that confuses me and makes absolutely no sense to me, Allie.
Well, I think it's funny because you mentioned the hammer coming down. It's a hammer in their own hand. These are self-imposed suspensions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they may be a tad bit trying to get some goodwill from the NCAA by being like, look, we're imposing our own little, punishments.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to punish us.
Which is the first part of what makes no sense to me.
Okay.
Is why they would do that.
Yeah.
Why you're suspending a coach that wasn't even the head coach at the time. This goes back to the Connor Stallions sign stealing scandal, right?
Yes.
Sherrone Moore was the offensive coordinator. He wasn't even the head coach. Why is he paying the price for what happened at that time? What good does this do?
I think you got to ask Michigan that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why. I believe the NCAA is still planning to do something. I think as far as what I've heard, it's towards the start of the season is when they're expected to release a ruling.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of shocked that Michigan decided to put more self-imposed sanctions down because they already did that when it first happened. I believe it was 4 games that they suspended Jim Harbaugh from, including the Ohio State game from that year. Because there was belief that they had already done sign stealing against Ohio State. And so it was kind of like, oh, it's a big deal or whatever.
A lot of good that did.
For Ohio State, yeah. But, so I was surprised to see this as well.
That doesn't make sense to me. Here's another thing that doesn't make sense. This, possibly the thing that makes the absolute least sense of all of it. He's suspended for 2 games in 2025. Sherrone Moore, coach of Michigan. For the 3rd and 4th games of the season.
Yeah, I don't know how that was determined.
He gets to coach the first 2, which I do know. One of the first 2 games is against Oklahoma, where Sherrone Moore went to college and played on their football team. So I can understand why he would want to coach in that game. But I could also understand why he would want to coach in any game.
Yeah.
Why does he get to? Why do they get to just these first 2? We'll let you coach those. 3 and 4. Against Central Michigan and Nebraska are the ones that he's supposedly suspended for. And I guess that's Michigan kind of maybe giving Oklahoma a little bit of credit of being like, we think you're a tougher game than Nebraska, which I don't think is necessarily true or a done deal. Or maybe they're just really throwing shade at Nebraska. And also Central Michigan being like, we think we can beat you without our actual coach.
I think Nebraska certainly has had its struggle years over the past decade or so, even longer than that. And then Central Michigan, I mean, obviously that's not a huge opponent. But I don't know. I don't know how they came to this determination of what games would be the suspended ones for him. Maybe they let him pick. I don't know. But
Which is a crazy way to do a punishment.
Maybe, but again, this is Michigan's own punishment. This is coming from their school and their administration. So I don't know how they implemented it or how they came up with the plan, but this is what they're going with. This is, again, it's not NCAA initiated. It's just self-imposed sanctions that they put on themselves.
It says the school and the NCAA are working towards a resolution together. It says that the reports state that like the reason that he's being suspended is because when the Connor Stallions thing first came out, Sherrone Moore deleted text messages. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a crime? And yet those were still obtained by the NCAA. They were turned over. He just deleted them at first. I'm sorry, is it wrong to delete text messages? I do that all the time. And
it does seem a little suspicious.
Okay, you can't be suspended for being suspicious.
Well, I just mean, have they looked into it and found something from those?
No, they obtained the text messages, and there's nothing related to the Connor Stallions thing at all. And third and finally, the sign stealing thing is apparently a level 1 violation, which is the highest violation, and which, again, doesn't necessarily pertain to Sherrone Moore. He wasn't the sign stealer.
We don't know that.
We don't. Exactly.
But I mean, maybe Michigan's like, yeah, he was a part of it. And we're going to try and do some goodwill here.
But also, to have that be the highest level of violation you can do, it means you have your levels messed up.
Why?
He was just getting signs.
I think that's a pretty high level problem.
It apparently wasn't, because they still kept winning even without them. So I don't understand this thing. It's such a big deal. If it wasn't even Michigan, I wouldn't get. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, as far as like just the whole Connor Stallions thing, or just the sanctions thing.
I don't understand why the sanctions are so why people want the sanctions to be so extreme, and why now years later we're still talking about this.
This isn't extreme. As an Ohio State fan whose team had to vacate so many wins over players selling their own belongings for tattoos.
Yeah.
I can tell you this is not extreme.
That was wrong then, and this is wrong now.
But I just mean this is not extreme compared to that. They literally made them vacate wins. They're not asking Michigan to do that right now.
No, and they shouldn't. Nor should they. But what dumb punishments they gave out in the past doesn't mean they can give out dumb punishments in the present day.
The
it doesn't make them
NCAA
right.
will prove me wrong on that.
It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. And we can't, just because they say you're vacating wins, we all remember. We all know what happened.
Well, I certainly do.
We remember Ohio State winning. We remember Michigan kicking Ohio State all over the place. How many lollipops do you have to accidentally order on Amazon before they refuse to take them back? 8772 Radio U. Our friend Car Seat Tim sent this in to the show. He emailed us about a second grader in Kentucky that accidentally ordered 70,000 lollipops on Amazon. That is 30 cases of dum-dums. It is so many. You know, in the Santa Claus, when they deliver to Tim Allen's house, they deliver all of the
letters.
What is it? The Christmas list, like the naughty or nice list.
Yeah.
And it takes up like his whole entryway of his house.
Oh, yeah. It's the naughty or nice list. Yes. I do remember that.
That is what happened to this family in Kentucky with Pop-Tarts, with lollipops.
Yeah.
There's so many boxes of Dum-Dums.
I mean, it's as tall as the door. Multiple stacks as high as their front door. Because they like put in this article a picture of their front door with just stacks and stacks of Dum-Dums.
Uh-huh.
And then I guess they put them in their garage, because where else would you put them? And there's
you don't want them getting
stacks
wet.
of them everywhere.
It is so many lollipops. It says that, so it's 30 cases. Each case has 2,300 suckers inside and costs about $130 each. So do the math on that. 130 times 30. That's a lot of money.
Wow. And it says the total
$39,000 or $3,900.
It says the total cost was at least $4,200 with like sales tax. Shipping was free.
Yeah, that should
Shipping
be right.
was free, but Amazon did not let them return the suckers.
That's what's crazy. And so according to the mom here, she says that she contacted Amazon immediately when she realized what happened before these had been delivered. Amazon told her to reject the delivery and they would refund her. But she says the driver never knocked on her door or rang the doorbell. They just dropped all the Dum-Dums off.
Yeah.
And so there was no way for her to reject the delivery, which is a wild thing for Amazon to say. Like, what if you weren't home?
I was going to say that's not usually how refunds or returns work anyways.
And at Amazon, like, they let you return almost anything.
Yeah, and also, like, if she contacted them immediately, I know Amazon is quick, but if she, as she claims, reached out to them as soon as it happened, they couldn't have even processed the order yet. Wasn't that the easiest time for them to cancel the order and refund her? So it just feels like overall they were not going to refund her, and they just gave an excuse like, oh, well, just reject it.
That is, it's unfortunate that Amazon wouldn't take them back. According to the mom, though, she says all of the sealed cases have been sold. So I wonder if they just kept one, maybe one for the child.
Maybe.
The second grader
maybe
that ordered
the
all
pictures were for Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way. I struggle to also picture how, like, you have to go through.
Oh, no, she said they are refunding her money. This is an update post from her, I guess from Sunday. She said, after a long day of working with the bank and talking to a few news stations, Amazon called and they're refunding my money.
There you go.
Talk to the news, and there you go.
There you go. Yeah, drag Amazon through the mud, and finally they will cave in, which they should have. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's also ridiculous that it's even possible for a second grader on a phone to accidentally order 70,000 Pop-Tarts. Why do I keep saying Pop-Tarts? Lollipops.
We did just talk about Pop-Tarts. But yeah, that's crazy. That part to me, I still don't understand. How was this able to happen? Like, how many boxes did he need to continually put into his cart before it was like, all right, and now I can go through with this purchase?
How many before it would be before Amazon raised a flag and was like, this doesn't seem like a normal order?
Yeah. Like, what was it? 130 boxes? How many boxes was it?
It was 30 cases.
30 cases? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Nobody would ever order that many lollipops.
You would think.
This is one more reason why I think children shouldn't be able to touch phones.
Yeah.
Not until you're old enough to pay for your own Amazon orders.
You know, when you find yourself in a moment of peer pressure, Hudson, and you're like, I kind of want to do this thing that I actually don't really want to do.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I found myself in that same situation over the weekend. And I was coming into my apartment complex and I was parking. And my complex is new, and so over the past few months that I've been there, it's slowly started to fill up a little bit more, and the parking lot has started to get more cars in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that a lot of people that park in front of my building, they like to back into their spot that's right up next to the building.
Yeah.
And so I was parking the other day, I think it was Saturday, I was coming back, and I was going to sneeze. I knew it was coming. But every single car was backed into a spot.
Wow.
And there was one spot left in the parking strip that's right in front of the sidewalk.
So you've got an apartment complex full of dads.
Apparently, yeah. And so I was thinking to myself, you know what? I usually don't back in, but maybe I will, because do I want to be different than everybody else? Do I want to break up this harmony that we have here?
Yeah, they've had some kind of meeting, and like they're all on the same page, and you're out of the loop.
I mean, I almost took a photo. Every single car was, backed in. Well,
Do they have a valet or something?
No. I did not end up backing in, but I did think it made me think of this because it's a funny example of it. But, there's those moments that we have in real life of peer pressure where it can be something as simple as parking, I guess, or something more serious. But we have those moments of peer pressure where it feels like we kind of are considering doing something that we don't want to do, maybe never would do, don't usually do. And maybe deep down, we also know something that's not right for us to do. And, it's like we need to have that ability to kind of overcome that peer pressure and the mentality of, well, let me just fall in line with everybody else and just do what everybody else is doing, go along with the crowd instead of, going in a way that we think actually is right.
Yeah. The pressures can stack up against you, but I think the parking example is actually a great example because, at least for me, I'm proud of you for standing strong. I don't think I would have even been tempted, even though I did. If I saw what you saw, I understand it. But I wouldn't even be tempted because I know if I tried to back into a spot, it's way more likely I'm going to hit one of those cars, and that would really break up the harmony.
Yeah.
But that's so true of, like, you see a bunch of other people doing the same thing and put a bunch of pressure on yourself. But if that's the wrong thing for you, it can lead to more trouble than you think then you realize, because it's not what's right for you to actually do. Exactly.
And that's what I love about a relationship with God is it takes that peer pressure mentality off your back. You kind of, the world puts that on you. It makes you think you need to fall in line and go along with the crowd and mob mentality and just don't be different and, stick with the status quo if you know what that's from. It's from High School Musical, but
I didn't.
You didn't know that?
No, I've never seen that.
That's so sad. If you know it, you could text in 8772 Radio U. But that is so nice that, God just gives you that ability to be like, you know what? I don't need to go along with the crowd for this. It's okay to stand out. It's okay to be different. In fact, God wants us to be different from what the world is doing. He calls us for something more, something bigger than what this world has to offer. And that's so awesome. And all you need to do is say yes to that. All you need to do is be like, you know what? I do want to be different. I do want to have a relationship with God. I don't want to have this pressure that comes down on me and makes me think that I need to do something that I don't want to do. I need to do something that I know isn't right.
Yeah, if you want to experience that, God is there. He's ready to not only help you stand up against what the world is trying to tell you to do, what the crowd is trying to tell you to do, but God will it pushes back against that.
Yeah.
When you feel pressure coming at you from the front, there's pressure from the back, pushing back, saying you can go the way you need to go.
Yeah, you have the wherewithal to withstand what the pressure is.
RadioU.com/free gift if you want to know more. The Starbucks baristas are fighting back. There's a revolt going on. 8772 Radio U, at least at some locations, where this is happening across the country at several Starbucks. The baristas have unionized. And that's kind of, I think, empowered them, which in some ways can be good. But in this case, it's empowered them to fight back against what they see as a very conservative and strict new dress code at Starbucks cafes across the country, but specifically for them in Seattle. Their baristas not pleased. They list a bunch of other issues that they say, with working at Starbucks. Okay, sure, whatever. And they say instead of addressing these issues, Starbucks management has decided to introduce an unpopular, more conservative dress code. This dress code basically just states that if you're a barista, you now need to wear a solid black shirt, either collared, crew neck, or button up, and any shade of khaki, black, or blue denim pants.
Yeah, and I believe it says it also can be short sleeve or long sleeve, so it doesn't need to just be a t-shirt.
Any shirt that's just black. It just has to be black. And that Starbucks has given any employees 2 of their company black t-shirts free of charge. So you already have 2 in your wardrobe that are available to you. But the Starbucks employees, some of them anyways, very upset about this.
Yeah, they're not happy that they can no longer, I guess, express themselves with whatever shirt they want to wear. I guess this is a Starbucks policy that they're trying to do to put more emphasis on their green aprons. Because they all have to wear the green aprons, but I guess they could wear whatever they wanted underneath or whatever t-shirt they wanted underneath, whatever color. But now they're like, nope, it has to be black. And then for pants, they said it can be any shade of khaki, black, or blue denim bottoms. So really broad as far as the bottoms go. But my favorite part of this was when they were, I guess, protesting at the headquarters for Starbucks in Seattle. They were like, this is a problem because this is causing people to have to go out and buy new clothes. And I'm like, what do you mean you have to buy new clothes? They're giving you the 2 t-shirts and also all of the pant options. Like, everyone should have those options. That's just all pants ever.
Yeah, that's confusing to me. And they've got plenty of warning, too, because this hasn't even taken effect yet.
Yeah.
This was announced a bit ago.
Yeah.
And doesn't go into effect for another week. May 12th is when the dress code actually comes into play. So I feel like, listen, I think sometimes our circumstance, like, everything is relative.
Yes.
Like, to you or I, this feels like nothing, but when you're a Starbucks barista, like, this is a big deal. You know what I mean?
If it's your career, I suppose, you're like really nervous about it. And you're just like freaking out. But I don't know if I want to demean Starbucks, like, what they're going through this much. But like, when you have so little conflict in your job, then this feels like a big deal. Yeah. Right, yeah. Well, and I also don't want to downplay it and make it seem as if like it's not that big of a deal. Like if you were a barista, this could be a big deal. But to me, this just seems like it's just the shirt that you're wearing. Like it's not that big of a deal.
When I worked at Panera, so I can speak from experience, we actually did. We had to always have a collared shirt, but we could wear any color we wanted, any design, whatever. I don't remember. Pants, we weren't allowed to wear jeans.
Okay.
At Panera when I was working there. And if they would have changed the dress code, would I have been like raising a big, like if they changed it to this?
Would you have gone to protest?
I think that might have been nicer compared to what we were wearing. And so I probably would have been more comfortable. I definitely wouldn't have been protesting over it.
Yeah.
There's other stuff I would have been like, there's still other things that would have been higher on the list of things I cared about.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to worry about the dress code.
Yeah. Apparently also some of it has to do with like politic type stuff, which no surprise there. Everything comes back to politics, it feels like.
Yeah.
But I guess they were protesting that they couldn't represent some politic type things in their shirts that they're wearing.
You don't need, it's work. You don't always need to do that.
That's what I'm saying too. I'm like, I think Starbucks probably doesn't want that represented.
When I walk in and get my coffee, I don't want to be thinking about politics. I want to be thinking about coffee.
Yeah.
I wish you could see the smile on my face right now.
Oh, yeah. Why are you smiling so big, Hudson?
I'm smiling so big because it sounds more and more likely that Aaron Rodgers is set for a return to the NFL this season.
Oh, boy.
This is according to reports from Charles Robinson, who is a sports reporter for Yahoo, who recently laid out a pretty good case for why Aaron Rodgers to the Pittsburgh Steelers is essentially a done deal, and they're just waiting to actually announce that and make it public and confirmed until closer to the season.
Okay.
And so this is what I want. I want Aaron Rodgers on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's a great place for him to succeed. Why, though, if he was going to the Steelers, why haven't they already announced that yet?
Yeah.
And the explanation that Charles Robinson of Yahoo Sports has is pretty genius. The last several seasons, Aaron Rodgers with the Jets going into the season kind of viewed as a distraction, because if he's not in the building and if he's not like being a good businessman, then it's like, why isn't Aaron Rodgers being a part of the team? Why is he distracted? Why is he focusing on other things other than football? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then all of the football, like everybody else in the organization has to answer all these questions.
Yeah.
If the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers have agreed to not actually announce anything until like training camp, like right before training camp, then it's not a distraction, because he's not there to be a distraction. And so way less questions that the Steelers have to be fielding with him not around.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. As far as like, they don't have to worry about talking about Aaron Rodgers. They can just use the, he's not on our team excuse type of thing. If somebody does ask about it, if reporters ask the head coach or whoever. But yeah, I think there's definitely a possibility that this is true. I am the type of person that I need to wait out and see the official announcement before I'm like, yep, this is happening. Because also the Steelers, didn't they draft at least 2 quarterbacks in the draft?
They drafted Will Howard
Just Will
in
Howard.
like the 6th round.
Okay.
And so I don't think it's, that's actually part of Charles Robinson of Yahoo Sports also explained why the Steelers' actions have made it seem like they know that he's going to be there.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is they didn't draft a quarterback in the 1st round, nor 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. They drafted Will Howard in the 6th, which is not where you would draft a quarterback you intend to start on day one in the NFL season. But of course, they also brought in DK Metcalf, a big wide receiver, and signed him to a deal, which you could do regardless of Aaron Rodgers. But particularly if you think you're going to have a good star quarterback that you're going to be throwing the ball a lot, you'd want to have as many great receivers as you can. Also, talking about the training camp thing, there's a quote from Mike Tomlin that feels like, if you read into it, feels like even more it lends itself to be like, training camp is when Rodgers will be announced. Because he says, to be quite honest with you, I don't know what I meant that specifically for him or the circumstance. I'm just saying, in general, when you report to training camp, it's a line of demarcation or development of a group individually and collectively. Mike Tomlin sees reporting to training camp as a line of demarcation, a.k.a. he's not worried about Aaron Rodgers not being signed or whatever, because once he's there for training camp, that's what matters.
Yeah, like that's the start of the group kind of forming together as a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get what he's saying there. I think you can certainly read between the lines and insert a potential thing of maybe Aaron Rodgers, but it could just be a coach saying that this is what he believes. And so I don't know. I'm always skeptical until I see an official report, but I do think the signs are pointing this way.
They're pointing this way, and that's great news for me. Great news for Aaron Rodgers. Great news for the Steelers. Bad news for the AFC North. Love them or leave them on Radio U. Whenever you've got a relationship issue that you want some help with, let us know. Email mornings@radiou.com. No matter how weird, we'll see what we can do. And of course, the Radio U audience happy to weigh in as well. And this one is weird. We have a gal who says that I need help coming clean to my boyfriend about a lie that's been in the making since I was in 8th grade. Here's the story. When I was the new kid in 8th grade at a new school, for some reason, my best friend from my previous school and I came up with a prank that we thought was funny at the time. We decided to tell everybody I was colorblind. Not like I can't see red or green colorblind, but full grayscale so that if somebody tested me, I would be able to get it out of it, you know?
Yeah.
I told them I see the world like an old black and white movie, and it worked. Nobody questioned it. In fact, it kind of blew up and became my thing. The years have gone by, friendship forms, but the lie stuck, and I meet my now boyfriend on a dating app. He's the perfect guy. We're 2 years in. I want to spend the rest of my life with him. But when we got serious and he met one of my best friends from high school, my fake colorblindness came up. I panicked, doubled down, and told him that, yes, I see in black and white. So now he thinks I see in black and white.
No.
His family thinks I see in black and white, and I don't. But I feel really bad. Now I'm stuck. I feel like I've lied to him for 2 years. I know I have to come clean, but how do I even begin to do that? Have I wrecked things? How do I tell my boyfriend the truth without the risk of this ending our relationship?
Oh my goodness.
8772 Radio
crazy.
U. This is juicy. This is wild.
This is indeed wild.
Who would have thought when you're 8th grade? I don't know exactly how old she is now. 8th grade, but now, I mean, you're out of high school, and still this lie is coming back to bite you.
Oh, man. I have words.
8772 Radio U. We need help. What do you do? And everybody thinks you're colorblind, including your boyfriend of 2 years, and you feel like you just have to let him know. We have some great advice coming in.
Absolutely. We really do.
I really like what Luke said. Luke says, just sit everybody down that you can, explain the entire story, maybe bring their favorite foods with you when you do it. Ease the blow with food. Yeah, that you can never go wrong easing the blow with food. We also heard from Ryan, who says, I think you should hit your head on something and pretend like it fixed your vision. A lie got you in. Might as well use one to get out. I think he's joking.
Yeah, but that is hilarious.
But that's what you would do in a movie.
Yes. In a movie, this is how you come to the fix.
That would work, and that would be hilarious. I love the idea.
You'd have to have also really good acting skills to pull that off. To be like, it fixed it.
Yeah.
I can see
it's a miracle.
Yeah, because have you seen the videos of people like seeing color for the first time?
Yeah, when they put on those glasses or whatever, they start
crying.
crying.
Their eyes out because it's so extreme. So you'd have to be
Which
a good
I never
actor.
understood. I've seen those, and it's like, if somebody fixed I have horrible vision, good enough to drive, but just barely. And if somebody fixed my vision, I don't think I would start crying. But I'm not very emotional.
But if you also are seeing colors for the first time that you've never experienced, I think it would be kind of life-changing.
Yeah. I just can't, some things you can put yourself in other people's shoes and understand. And you would think eye stuff, particularly for me, I would, but I can't. Tim says, pray about it and confess to God. If it ends, it ends, but at least you did the right thing.
Yes.
I think she did say, how can I talk to come clean to my boyfriend without the risk of ending this? Although this is a stupid lie and a really dumb situation, there's no guarantee he wouldn't break up with you over this.
No guarantee. Because to me, the part of it that's like, of course, all of us say lies as kids. All of us come up with things to get attention sometimes. And that's kind of what this was. You know, you left a school because of bullying and now you're at a new school and you and your friend come up with this plan. And this is kind of an attention grabber thing. Like it makes you special in the scenario. But the issue to me is that you stuck with it for this long.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Justin said if you're honest up front, most guys would probably find it funny and probably even play along. 2 years is a long time, though.
Yeah.
And also, like, this is a guy that, like, she didn't go to school with or anything. She thought, why even bring this up when, like, this is a totally different ecosystem.
Yeah, that's
It'll
a
probably
good
never
sign.
come up.
That's a good sign that she didn't willingly offer up this lie to him. It was just when she panicked with her friend. She didn't want to, tell the truth in front of her friend, apparently. But to me, it's a good thing that she didn't start off with being like, yeah, and I'm colorblind. I can only see in grayscale.
Yeah, that's not on your dating app profile.
No.
That'd be a red flag if you're still continuing this on well after 8th grade.
Yes. All right. Well, also, I heard from Ian. I think I agree with him. He said, here's the thing. You've been feeling shame about this for so long, and you've lost perspective. What you need to realize is that this is objectively hilarious. This truly is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You told a lie as a kid to get attention. You didn't hurt anybody with this lie. You got in too deep and kept it up to avoid embarrassment to him or anybody else. And now it's kind of snowballed into this bigger thing. But what you just need to realize is come clean to your boyfriend. It's not that deep. Your brain and your shame are tricking you. And I think I agree with Ian quite a bit on this.
That's probably just good advice for
anything.
Lots of lies you've told, even much more serious than being colorblind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good advice. And I feel like the truth is, because you guys have been together for 2 years, and it's not like you brought it up at first, right? Yeah. You're 2 years in, somebody walks back into your life and brings this up, and then you don't know what to do. You can tell your boyfriend the truth now, and he might be a little mad for a little bit, but I think, especially you like him as much as you do, he probably likes you that much too. He might be mad for a week, maybe at most. But guys, though, he might be mad for a day.
Yeah, if even that.
And if he likes you, then this is going to be easier to let it go. Now, all the other people that you lied to over the years,
that might be harder.
Yeah, that's going to be tougher.
But I will say, if you come to your boyfriend or anybody with the same remorse that you shared with the comments that you gave to us, I think anybody is going to hear your heart of being like, I just felt trapped in this thing and I couldn't get out of it. They're going to understand because everybody has experienced that feeling with something. Yeah.
Be honest and sincere about it, and just really emphasize the I came up with this in 8th grade thing.
Yeah.
that should actually help a lot.
Yes.
This is one of the wildest tattoo sleeves I've ever seen. 8772 Radio U. Let us know. We can send it your way. It's Tank Dell. He's a wide receiver for the Houston Texans. He got a sleeve on his leg that is an homage, a collage of so many of the most iconic horror movie characters. And it takes up, it's a sleeve. It takes his entire upper thigh all the way down to his foot on this leg. And, you think of the most iconic horror characters of all time. Chucky, Michael Myers. Who else is on here? The Scream mask. Ghostface, some might say. And many more, because you think it's got to take up his entire leg. It was got
the Joker on there, too.
Such a big tattoo. He had to get anesthesia for them to be able to do it.
Well, he needed anesthesia because he wanted to get it done quickly. Mm-hmm. Most of the time when you see people do work like this, where it's a whole sleeve, like a whole arm or a whole leg or your whole back, they have to do it in, several periods of time, like several slates of time. And they break it up a little bit so it's not so much damage to your skin, and also you're not in pain for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But I guess for him, he wanted to get it done quickly. So he was like, yeah, give me the anesthesia.
Yeah, he's also got a lot of downtime to be able to do stuff like this, because he is, if you remember, near the end of the last football season, he dislocated his other knee, which tore multiple ligaments, damaged his meniscus. He's likely going to be out for most, if not all, of this upcoming NFL season while he rehabs and whatever. So he's got other stuff, he's got to fill his time that he can't be on the field. And one of the ways is by getting his entire leg covered with horror characters.
Yeah, he's like, my one leg has torn ligaments and it's dislocated, meniscus damage and all that. So let me just go ahead and put a whole tattoo on the other one.
My other leg is covered with characters that will tear their meniscus or tear your meniscus out of your body.
Yeah, right.
With their bare hands.
Right.
Before they kill you and eat it in front of you.
I don't know if they're that bad, but
I
does
mean,
he have Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy on there? He's a cannibal, right?
I don't know if I saw that, but also I'm not the horror movie aficionado that you are, Allie. I didn't even know Scream was called Ghostface. There's a couple.
How did you not know that?
Is that Freddy Krueger? There's one face down there below that I think it's Freddy Krueger, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of, like, if you look closely, a lot of Easter eggs and things.
I see the bat from It, the loser with the lover thing on it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you're a horror aficionado, as we've mentioned. Would you ever get a tattoo like this?
No, I'm not planning to get a tattoo.
No tattoos at all?
Yeah.
This would be quite a way to start.
Right. I just jumped from not getting one to getting a full tattoo
Your entire leg,
of all horror
which you
movie
need
characters.
anesthesia for.
Yeah, no thanks.
Wow. Well, it looks cool, though.
I mean, I think whoever the artist was did a fantastic job.
They did a great job.
It's actually kind of impressive.
It is going to be weird. Like you not even like, as you age, like your tattoos will look different. But just like when he's a grandpa or whatever.
Grandpa, who's that?
Yeah, and nobody's going to know. Like some of these characters are going to be so old at that point and so out of everybody's consciousness that they're just not even going to know.
These particular ones definitely have stood the test of time. You're talking about Michael Myers. I mean, he's been around since the 1970s, and they're still making movies about him.
I know, and they can't do that forever.
But I mean, like, it's 40 years now, Hudson. So, like, you're talking about him being a grandpa. That's another 40 years. They're still going to be using that IP.
People said the same thing about Fred Astaire.
Did they?
Yeah, and everybody now is like, who's Fred Astaire? Here's an idea. 8772 Radio U. What if we reopen Alcatraz prison? If I'm being honest, actually, I don't know that I was 100% sure Alcatraz was closed.
I think I knew that.
I think I knew that just
you
because
could, like, tour it now.
Yeah, it's not that I knew it was closed. It's that I knew you could tour it, and I guess that'd be a weird thing to tour.
That'd be weird if there were inmates.
If there were actual prisoners there. Nevertheless, maybe we should reopen Alcatraz. That's at least an idea that our very own president, Donald Trump, came up with on Sunday. I'll spare you the entire long post that he sent out, but he did say, I'm directing the Bureau of Prisons, which I'm going to take his word for it that that's a thing, together with the Department of Justice, FBI, and Homeland Security to reopen a substantially enlarged and rebuilt Alcatraz to house America's most ruthless and violent offenders. Is this a good idea? Should we bring back Alcatraz?
Honestly, I have no idea if this is a good idea or not. I have no idea if this is needed. I haven't looked into, like, prison stats to be like, yeah, they're overflowing with criminals that are, the really dangerous ones that need to be in, like, high security or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, is he looking at some type of information that's saying that we do? I would hope so. So, yeah, I don't know.
A lot of people are joking that he must have just watched The Rock, which is a movie about Alcatraz, because that was just on FX on TV. Some other people are saying also on Netflix, they literally just added the movie Escape from Alcatraz. And so that's what he's looking at. But
he tweeted it while he was watching.
Yeah, he's like, hey, this place seemed great. Let's bring it back. I don't know. I don't have any, like, actual real feelings on reopening Alcatraz or not.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that it sounds like a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the right thing to do.
We can certainly write more great movies and TV shows if Alcatraz is open.
It's wrong because if we reopen Alcatraz, the people that are going to be sent there are supposed to be like some of our worst criminals, right?
I would think so.
But also, one of the fun things about reopening Alcatraz would be like, can anybody escape? Like, that's what I would want to know. That's what
I'm sure someone would try.
How about, okay, I've got the answer. We don't need to reopen Alcatraz to actually put prisoners there. You know what we need to do?
What?
Mr. Beast needs to reopen it and use it for a game show.
Oh.
Yeah. Mr. Beast, come on, do this.
Yes.
We know he's the one.
Episode of Mr. Beast Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
You get $1 million if you can escape.
Did you see? So the MythBusters tried to recreate the.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, the
I did not
Alcatraz
see that.
escape back when that show was on TV. That I don't know what they found, but I do know that it's because there's 3 inmates, right, that famously escaped,
yeah,
but were never found again after they escaped.
Yes.
But I think the evidence is like mounted over the years, going back to like there's something here from 2013 that basically people really think that they were able to escape.
Yeah. I know some people thought they drowned.
Mm-hmm.
Some people thought that they, ran to another country, like fled to another country.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows whatever happened to them because, they were never found. So we don't know.
Yeah. But 3 out of however many people were held there for however long it was open.
Yeah.
That might have made it out like that. But then again, how many people escape from other prisons? Like, I feel like the rates are also probably fairly low.
Yeah.
Not none, but fairly low.
Yeah. I don't think I hear too often about a prison break going on.
Yeah.
That's another show from back in the day.
Yeah, that's right. And this is, I'm calling on Mr. Beast for this.
Yeah.
This is
I love that
a
idea.
job for him.
I love that idea.
And I'll even try it. I would fail, but I would try it just to be a part of this.
Yeah.
We are 1 game into 3 out of the 4 NBA playoff series going on. We're down to 8 teams. Last night, both the Knicks on the road against the Celtics and the Nuggets on the road against the Thunder each took game 1. The home team, the higher seed, has lost each of the game 1s in this second round.
Yep. All the semifinals so far.
Pacers beat the Cavs. Knicks beat the Celtics. Thunder lost to the Nuggets. Allie, which of the higher seeds should be panicking the most?
Ooh, you know what? I honestly think out of everybody, the one I'm worried about the most in the series is actually the Cavs.
Really?
That's the one where I feel like that truly is a toss-up now.
Mm-hmm.
You've lost home court advantage after losing game 1. But I will also say, because I pointed this out in the Boston-Orlando series, which was in round 1 of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I pointed this out to Nene. Boston looks very apathetic.
Mm-hmm.
They just won a championship. It's very hard to come back and win again. It's hard to repeat. It's hard to bring back that same kind of bravado you played with when you didn't have a ring on your finger. When you weren't chasing something. Now they're just chasing a repeat. They've already gotten the trophy. So it's hard to kind of get that gusto back in you and the same, drive and feeling. And I feel like they're lacking that right now. Mm-hmm. They had a 20-point lead last night against the Knicks at home, TD Garden, a famously hard place to win for away teams. And yet the Knicks were still able to come back. Really shocking for that game. So I think Boston and Cleveland are the ones that I probably would worry about the most. I think OKC is going to be fine.
I really like how you said the Cavs are the most concerning, and then you talked about how the Celtics are concerning.
Well, I do think that the Cavs-Pacers series, out of all of these, I felt like was going to be the closest.
Yeah. I'm not as concerned about the Celtics. Even though last year, people were saying all the way through the playoffs until they won the championship, this doesn't feel like a real championship team, you know? And so I tend to not believe in them at my core, but I also really don't believe in the Knicks, and I think the Celtics are going to come back in game 2 and blow out the Knicks.
I think they control their destiny. They just need to up their game.
Yeah.
They can win this.
I trust the Celtics probably the most out of the 3 that have lost.
Okay.
I think the Thunder, the concerns that people had going into the playoffs is they have less playoff experience.
Sure.
And are they too is it Shea or Shy? I always say the wrong thing.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Are they too dependent on him? And do they not have a next go-to guy? And whereas the Nuggets, even though they just switched coaches 3 games before the playoffs, have been through this entire thing before. They've won a championship. They've got really good home court advantage. And now they have home court advantage for the series after winning game 1.
Yep.
Which out of all the games, game 1 is the top game that the Thunder should have had a huge advantage in. So I feel like the Thunder might need to buckle down here.
Yeah, I will say, though, out of all of the games of the semifinals that we've gotten, the Nuggets are the flukiest win. They won on a pretty fluky shot from Aaron Gordon. And so, I mean, it's a great shot, but that's just not like going in every time.
Just like against the Clippers.
Yeah,
There's just something about them,
They've got some good luck right now, but will that last throughout the playoffs? Usually they say luck does not last throughout the playoffs. So we'll see. But I will say, like, the Knicks, they looked good in their comeback against Boston, and the Pacers looked very convincing in their win against Cleveland. The Nuggets looked a little fluky in their win against the Thunder.
I don't know, though. They just got that. They got that championship riz, you know? I feel like they could just. The Thunder haven't found that yet.
Yeah, maybe not.
They gotta find it. It's gonna be tough now. They're at a disadvantage. We've had a lot of crocodile alligator stories here on the show lately, I feel. This one actually involves, unlike some of the others, somebody getting bitten by a crocodile.
Oh, no.
8772 RadioU. This individual was in the Philippines. There's a man visiting a zoo in the Philippines. He was trying to take a selfie with a crocodile, so he was kind of asking for it.
Yeah.
But according to him, he thought the crocodile was fake. So he hopped over a fence, climbed into an enclosure to pose for photos with this crocodile, supposedly thinking that the crocodile wasn't real. And then when the crocodile did turn out to be real and this guy was too close for comfort, the crocodile bit down on, I believe, his arm. And fortunately, this guy was able to be saved thanks to a zookeeper who hopped in as well, hit the crocodile on the head with a concrete block, which got her to let go. And this man, the man that got bit, wound up needing 50 stitches for his injuries.
Oh, wow.
One for every tooth, probably.
Yeah, I'm not sure
that
how
chomped
many
into his arm.
Teeth crocodiles have, but I know they've got a lot. Oh, man. But, I mean, I don't feel like you can blame the crocodile at all. It's not the crocodile's fault that you jumped in its enclosure and tried to take a picture with it. I mean, if I thought something was fake, maybe I would ask before I jump a fence.
Yeah, you still jumped a fence.
You still jumped a fence where you shouldn't have been. I'm sure there were signs around that said, do not, no people past this point or whatever. But still, even if there weren't signs, don't jump a fence at a zoo. Like, who needs to be explained how this works? Come on.
Yeah. Jumping fences, usually not very advisable. I also wonder, if you thought the crocodile was fake, why are you what's the fun of taking a picture with a fake crocodile?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Well, I mean, it would.
Which makes me wonder if he was lying.
I think maybe there is something to that, but maybe it would. I feel like it's better to take a picture with a fake crocodile than a real one, because a real one is going to do something like this if you get too close to it.
Yeah. I mean, that's obvious. It makes me think, though, I kind of just like his idea of, even if he's lying, of saying, I thought it was fake. I like when something really bad happens to you that you also could possibly be in trouble for. Just make yourself seem as stupid as possible. Nobody wants to punish somebody that's stupid. If they think you're evil or bad, they want to punish you. But if you're just dumb, then, and also you had to get your arm chomped by an alligator or a crocodile, maybe that's enough punishments itself.
I would think so, because it wasn't just an arm chomp. This crocodile went full death roll on him, as any crocodile would. That's what they do. If you didn't know that, they do this thing where they will grab onto something, they'll death roll, and that's usually to help pull a part of it off, and then they'll take that part away. And they actually kind of like have food storage. Usually in the banks of rivers, they have a place where they like to store food. And so that's kind of their natural way of doing things. And that's what they did to this that's what this crocodile did to this man. So that was not a fun experience, I'm sure.
Lesson learned. A hard lesson learned. But you know who I really feel bad for in this scenario?
What?
Harambe.
Yeah.
Harambe the gorilla. Where was the concrete block? Zookeeper.
Where was the 100 men?
Yeah. Also.
Thanks for listening to the RadioU Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.